Hello, everyone. I just started my record of the Brandenburg Concertos. Just kind of relax myself. I've been getting copyright notifications because of using Tool and stuff and playing other music while I'm painting. So I'm switching back to listening to classical music in the background. 'Cause I need some kind of music usually just to, I don't know, it just makes me feel better, more relaxed and more in the zone. Today's been a rough one. Before I get started, it would mean the world to me if you would check out my website, ezekielschmidtart.com. The link is in the description. I know a lot of YouTubers say that, but it really would mean a lot to me because I'm still learning on how this all works and just trying to make an impact. And I put a lot into my website. Like, I have a blog that explains some of my paintings and goes into the deeper meaning of it. I'm also going to be doing more like poetry and stuff, and I'm going to upload that. I also have the podcast episodes on there, but that's also here on YouTube. But I'd appreciate it deeply if you could click the link and go check it out. Let me know what you think. I got some really cool clothes that I made recently, or designs that I made for clothes, and yeah. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. It's been a bit of a rough day. It's been a really rough month. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And I know that other people have been going through a very similar time right now. It's a time. It's kind of like a liminal time of change. Winter can be hard on us because it's, besides the fact that we're getting very little sun right now, and sun is necessary for the production of vitamin D. Um, it's also that liminal time of things are starting again. Sometimes you feel like the whole last year just hasn't been working in your favor. And this liminal time of winter is it's the season of death and rebirth. It's the season where we're dying to a lot of stuff. A lot of people do like New Year's resolutions, and I think that's admirable. A lot of the times it doesn't necessarily go the way the person thinks it's gonna go, but it's a good thing to do, I think. At least try. Because even if you fail, you can at least say that you actually put in effort. You actually tried rather than doing what a lot of people do, which is just, oh, I was gonna do that. Oh, I like that idea. I was gonna do that once, but I never did. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda out there, but they don't even attempt. It's not like a thing to make yourself super prideful about, but it is. It's a thing. I really admire. St. Francis. I wanted to make him a lot bigger than the other figures because I wanted to like kind of have the impact of who he was as a person. He had a huge impact. He was actually a very small person in reality. St. Francis, just a little man from Assisi. The Pope had a vision of someone lifting up the church once. Him, or if I remember correctly, before he came, the Pope had a dream. Like the church was sinking or something like that. And this little man came and lifted it up. And then the next day, St. Francis showed up to ask him for his blessing for the thing he was doing. He wanted to start his own order, his own way of being, which was based on radical love, the very chivalrous attitude of the times. He wanted to embody that. He wanted to embody Christ-likeness. And that's the thing that I think is very admirable. Because what is it to be Christ-like but to give? My favorite quote is, "There's nothing greater than this, that a man should give his life for his friend." And I don't think that I have that kind of strength yet. I would like to think I do, but I don't know. What is it to truly give of yourself, to truly love someone, to put your ego aside? It's a hard thing. The symbol of Christ on the cross was, I think it gets misinterpreted a lot as, he died for our sins. No, he died to be a symbol. He died to show that he truly cared for other people, even though they were hurting him, because he knew, like, on the cross he says, "Forgive them, Lord, for they don't know what they're doing." And honestly, if you actually study psychology and you study the mind, and then you take a look around, you realize that most people have no clue why they're doing what they're doing. They just do it because they don't know anything better. They don't know anything else. So you have to forgive people, because most of us, we're very ignorant of what the effect of our actions are. And I include myself in this because I've hurt people many times unintentionally. And it's really hard not to, because we can't read necessarily what people need. hope that my effect is one that brings growth to people and actually helps them. Because I really am trying. I want to improve myself for those around me. I want to be strong so that way I can help the weak, help other people that are weak like me. I want to go through the hard things so that way I can show people that you can go through it and you will survive and you'll be fine. It's really hard to be strong, especially when you don't know if you're doing the right thing. But you have to have the confidence of doing it anyways. Something that hit me while I was meditating is a lot of times that we ask questions because we want to know before we can start. We want to have all the answers so that way we can have confidence in what we're doing. But most questions are not answered by thinking, but are answered in the doing. And what I mean by that is, so like when if you do an experiment, you can come up with your theory. You can try to answer every question beforehand. But until you do the experiment, you won't actually know what the effects are. When you do the experiment, you'll see that a lot of the questions that you had could have been easily answered in 5 minutes of the experiment instead of spending hours trying to figure out everything else first. So sometimes it's better to go in and just do it than try to wait to know the perfect answer and know everything that's going to happen, because you won't. The answers are lying in doing. And it's scary. It's very scary. But you're not going to know what's going to happen. You can't predict everything. And that's the point. Because if you could predict it, you might not do it. You might not learn what you actually needed to learn. So I've been trying to just let go of thinking lately and just do. And honestly, it's very stressful. It's a stressful thing to surrender to whatever may come. Whatever will be, will be. Because you want everything to be perfect. You want everything to go well. You don't want to hurt people. You don't want to fail. But failure is how we learn. It's a cliche, but it's true. I like starting off with a big brush so that way I don't make things too small. Especially hands. Because they need to be kind of bigger than you think they need to be. It's really easy to underestimate or overestimate what you need. As I was saying, the learning is in the doing. You won't know until you start doing it. And you'll figure out what exactly you need to do. Sometimes you're going to have to erase your mistakes. You have to go over it again. And that's fine. Allow patience with yourself. You have an entire lifetime to learn. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoy painting. Because I can make a mistake and I can paint over it. So like it's somewhat forgiving. It's good to use as a tool to learn about yourself. Sometimes we need to just have patience. And art really teaches you patience. Because good art usually is, depending on what your definition of good is, but fine art, I've noticed from the people that the artists that I know, because I don't consider myself a fine artist. People that I know are patient. They know it's not going to get done immediately. It's going to take time. Look at that little hump. Some people have that hump on their neck. I want to get the feeling of someone that's crouching over. Someone's been bent by life. The inspiration for this painting is when Jesus said, if you even give one of the least of these, like a child, a cup of cold water, you do it for me. What you do to the least of these, you do to me. And I think it's a very profound statement. And one that needs to be explored more. Through all the Godhead manifest. We are the universe looking back at itself. We're all part of the whole. What we do to one part, we do to everything. All effects ripple in eternity. All actions have infinite consequence, whether for good or bad. St. Francis was known for not being afraid of lepers. Well, he was afraid, like if I remember correctly, he was afraid at first, but he overcame that fear because he knew that they needed love and help just as much as anyone else. And back then, lepers freaked the fuck out of people. It was like zombies to them. People stayed away, they banished them to leper colonies. And we still have leper colonies. But St. Francis had faith in God, that God would protect him from that stuff. And because of that, he had the confidence to give people what they needed and to love people for who they were. I pray that I eventually get to that point. It makes me tear up when I think there are people like that in the world. People that love unconditionally. People that exemplify the Buddha and exemplify Christ. People who give their life in the pursuit of benefiting everyone, even to their own detriment. Because they know if they don't love him, no one else will. Radical love is a rare quality. It's something that has to be worked at. It's not something you're born with. You have to put aside what you identify as. Your identity is, this is what I want, this is who I am. I don't do these things because yada yada yada. A lot of those things lead to pride. And my dad used to tell me something that someone told him when he was young. Pride is like bad breath. Everybody knows you have it except for you. And there's a lot of, I think people go too hard in the self-esteem thing these days. It's good to love yourself, but I don't think that's what self-esteem really is. There's people that are so into self-esteem they place themselves above others for no real reason other than they want what they want and they want to be selfish, and so they can make an excuse for that. I think there's a little too much self-esteem and not enough esteem of others. This guy's gonna be missing some fingers on purpose. Some of that character in there. Something I'm really trying to put in my art is the drama, the character. I want you to be able to feel it. I want people to truly feel like they know this person, they've been there. We've all been broken. Even the strongest people. You can think of times when you really wish there could have been someone there for you when you were crumbling and you had no one. And it makes some people react in one of two ways. Either they think, well, I went through it and that wasn't so bad, because they forgot how much they hurt. Then there's the other type that felt it deeply, and instead of turning away when other people are in pain, they want to help as much as possible because they understand that pain, and they don't want anyone to suffer as they did. And those are the people that are worth emulating. Not the rich, not the successful, not the strong necessarily, not the ones promoting themselves on social media. It's the kindness that I really want to imitate. And sometimes being kind means speaking the truth even though it hurts the other person. You have to let them down gently, but still, sometimes it is a letdown to speak the truth. Not everyone wants to hear it. Sometimes They need to. Or else they'll just keep on hurting, keep on making the same mistakes. My prayer is that I affect people through my art the way I've been affected by the art of others. Sometimes art is not about painting, but a way of living. And life can be art if balanced and colored the right way. It could be inspiring to others. It could send a message of hope, message of love. Message of joy. St. Francis's peace prayer really has an impact on me. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there is doubting, let me bring your faith. O Divine Master, grant that I might see not so much as to be loved as to love another. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, I don't remember all of it. To console, not necessarily to be consoled. As to console, to be understood, as to understand, not so much to be loved, as to love another. For it is in giving that we now receive. It is in pardoning that we are now pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born again. I really love the John Michael Talbot version where he sings the peace prayer of St. Francis. I hope that the future is filled with more people like him. People that want to understand rather than trying to be understood all the time. People that want to listen rather than always talking. I know I'm talking a lot today, but I feel like I have something to say. Something worth saying. It's simple to live a life of radical love, but it's hard. It's hard to give up what you want for the benefit of others. Because the ego wants its way of the highway, and I'm very guilty of that. I'm a very strong-willed person. And some people might say that it's okay to, set boundaries and be what you want, but that's not my point. My point is not about, I think it's good to set boundaries, but my point is sometimes in order to see what really needs to be done, we have to set aside our own wants and desires. It's very difficult. Sometimes, in order to feed others, we'll have to go hungry. But that's what it means to be a leader. You take on the responsibility to take care of others. Because there are lots in this world that are dependent on us. Not everybody can be independent. We have to care for one another, because we're not always strong. I think that's all I can. Just a little bit more in the hand. But I think this is all I can do for today. And probably tomorrow I'll start coloring in. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me. It means a lot.